we are working with a no-dig garden approach here, and also working with companion planting. We've had really great results as of this winter. So I'm sketching out or drawing out the garden plan for the spring, summer veggies. And yeah, everyone does it differently. And for me, I really like to visualize it and have a loose plan that will definitely change. So it's not fixed, but it gives me a rough idea of how many seedlings I need to prepare for, which we've already done. And then where we'll plant them, what the spacing will be. And it also really helps me to know which structures we might need to build. So for the climbing peas, we started already to build some structures that they can climb up. And so I know then what the priorities are. So in the first bed, we're going to do zucchinis, peas, radishes, dill, marigolds and coriander. And they all have different ways they grow. So the zucchinis grow very large. They need a good meter apart, and the peas will climb up. The radishes are very easy to tuck in between the lines, the irrigation tubes. And then marigolds and coriander and dill as the kind of herb and pollinator plants that also really help to keep the balance of insects within the veggie gardens. In Portugal, we almost start where we are anyway, which is quite close to the coast. We start to get quite warm temperatures from mid-February onwards. It starts to feel quite spring-like here. There's still the potential for frost in February, but looking forward now at the weather forecast, it looks like there won't be any. So I will already start planting out our spring seedlings, which are ready to go, which is very different to the temperate zone where you would need to wait almost until May, because there could even be frost as late as May. And so the growing season in Portugal starts earlier, and you also get extremely high temperatures in the summer between July and August, sometimes over 35 degrees where we are, can get up to 40. And there the vegetables really are not so happy in that kind of temperature. So we really start earlier, and actually then those very hot summer months we would plant really sun-loving plants and integrate those into the gardens, which could be something like sweet potatoes and melons, okra, black-eyed peas and loofahs. So they will go in later when the temperatures warm up. So yeah, I'm going to show you how we make our own potting mix here. Quite often the store-bought ones have got peat moss in, so we prefer not to use that, and so we're making our own with coconut fibre, which we dissolve into water and it expands, and that gets mixed then once it's expanded with some vermiculite and some homemade compost that we have here, and then some ordinary soil from the land. And we mix all those together and make a big batch, and then we can do our seedlings. So it's roughly speaking double the amount of coconut fibre to the other components. So we would do for this one bucket of the coconut fibre, and then half a bucket of compost and half a bucket of the vermiculite. Yeah, so this is the final result. It's a really nice potting mix, and yeah, we're going to now make some seedlings. So yeah, we're using the potting mix, which we're going to fill into seedling trays, and just like this. Just taking out any, I mean, you can also sieve this before, but taking out any lumps. Yeah, with your seedlings, depends if you're having them outside or in starting them off in a greenhouse if it's cold outside where you are. Where we are at the moment in Portugal, it's quite nice and warm, so we'll be growing these outside from the get-go, and watering every 2 days, and just making sure that they're humid but not over-watering them. And really important to label your seedling trays with the date, so you know roughly how long they are before they germinate. The beetroots should come probably within 2 weeks. We will see. So whether or not you multi-sow your seedlings or you do one seed per seedling module is really up to you, and it's really personal. You can experiment with both ways and see what works for you. We find that multi-sown beetroot works really well, and leeks and onions. So we try to do that. It helps to maximize the space and also the water, which is quite limited for us here in Portugal. So we are conscious of that. So in the winter months, we tend to not water the vegetable gardens, depending on the annual rainfall. And in the summer months, we are watering our veggie beds once every 2 days for an hour. It could be more. I think it depends on where you are and how much water you have available. Some people would even water up to once a day for an hour. In the very hot months, we would also perhaps do that, but we really try to use the water as carefully and minimally as possible. So we found that every 2 days works really well. So we try to water before the midday heat, so we avoid the evaporation that can happen. So now you know how to start your seedlings off, and when they're ready to plant out, then you can plant them out in so many different ways. There's so many different ways to arrange your garden beds. We have our garden beds between our tree rows, and we work with the no-dig approach, where we don't disturb the soil. We add in the beginning some wood chips and manure. You can also add directly compost if you have that available and it's easy for you. For us, we don't, so we work with manure and wood chips, and that takes a little bit of time, usually one season, where we would cover crop it first and then we would plant in. So this bed here, we had originally as a dug bed. It wasn't a no-dig, and the results from the no-dig are so much better. So we're really really happy to be working with this method. And yeah, so here we have some lettuces that we've sown, some broad beans and some broccolis, and in between the broccolis we have garlic. So there's always something you can harvest. And yeah, we really like the polyculture approach, where we are company planting different vegetables together, with also aromatics like lemon balm and thyme, and we also like to plant flowers as pollinators for it to attract the insect that we need. What I've learnt is to have first of all patience with the garden. You know, in the beginning sometimes things won't work as you think, or the soil needs more improving if you aren't working with finished compost, and just be patient. This is now our second year of the garden here, and we're really seeing beautiful results coming through. We're also saving our seeds, so the seedlings are getting stronger each season we plant, and also just to have fun and not worry about making mistakes. I think that's also been quite a big lesson. For us here, we had quite some challenges. We have quite a wild area with a lot of wild boar, and so in the beginning we had a lot of our beds which were being disturbed by the boar, and it can be a bit disheartening at first when you've planted and looked after all these seedlings and then they are taken out by the boar. But actually it was a really good lesson. The soil wasn't quite ready yet, and we did end up doing a fence, which has been really beneficial for the small area that we are growing the vegetables in. So they have the wild boar still have a huge area in all the agroforestry systems where they can roam free, and we've just fenced off a small area that we can grow the annual and perennial vegetables here. Yeah, so some tips that I've picked up along the way, which were shared with me, and I would definitely share them on, is to have more seedlings than you think you need, because you can always slot them in somewhere, and also to not be worried about companion planting. There's a lot of myths out there that some plants are heavy feeders and they shouldn't be planted next to this plant and that plant, and I've actually found the opposite to be true, that when we are companion planting varieties together, that they really support each other, and we have had really great growth from experimenting with that here. And I would also say that keeping also in mind spacing between vegetables is really important. So knowing how much room your vegetables need. They all have different requirements. Broccoli is going to grow quite large and lettuces take up smaller space, and really looking at also the different stratas of vegetables. So the same as a forest system in the vegetable garden, you have climbers, you have creepers, and you have different space requirements and light requirements for your veggies as well. So you can really play with that, with the different stratas, and combine them in a really beautiful way where they support each other.